Hey guys, welcome back to Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 2023 American drama, May December. This is a film by director Todd Haynes. Todd Haynes is responsible for bringing the queer back to American cinema. He's known for such films as I'm Not There, Carol, what was his Douglas Sirk movie? All That Heaven Allows? No, that's an actual Douglas Sirk movie. Far From Heaven. And Poison Safe, a lot of good movies. He's known for his collaborations with Julianne Moore, who also stars in this film alongside Natalie Portman and Charles Melton. The movie is about the infamous case of Mary Kay Letourneau, a teacher, a public school teacher in the 90s who raped a student. So yeah, I guess feckin' ground for cinematic representation. I mean, Todd Haynes is a great director in general. So yeah. Let's watch May December. And before we get started, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more old, obscure, and art house films. Oh, such a strong melodramatic tone to his domestic dramas. It's that Sirkian influence. I'm sure the monarch butterfly will come up later in the plot, but establishing early on a theme of illusion. The monarch butterfly also has another butterfly that takes on its form in order to ward off predators, so you're never sure if it's the poisonous butterfly or the butterfly imitating its more dangerous cousin. Let's say cousin.
Oh, it's really hot. Yeah.
Savannah, Georgia.
I'm listening. That's two.
Keep an eye on things for me, okay? Honestly.
It's such an interesting camera distance that
I don't think we have enough hot dogs.
Julianne Moore and Todd Haynes just kind of like understand each other, their sense of humor, their sense of drama, but it's an interesting camera distance he chooses to elect. He elects to shoot more at, and all of the characters, I guess, so far at. It's kind of a distancing camera. Like, you never think about how short Julianne Moore is until a particular filmmaker shoots her at a wider distance, and she looks so much shorter than the other actors. But all this to create perhaps a sense of like distance or alienation from the characters so far, viewing them in their large, sprawling suburban homes, trapped in these dollhouses. I don't really think of Sirk as being like too much of a Vaseline on the lens kind of user. I guess in some shot, I'm not that familiar with Douglas Sirk, to be fair, but he's definitely using a lot of Todd Haynes is using a lot of kind of like, and a cinematographer for this are using kind of like a lot of bloom, giving kind of like
It's such
a kind of veneer to a lot of the images.
So sweet. I thought you were taller. You look taller on television, but we're basically the same size.
Basically the same.
Can I pause for a second? Yeah, and just a short line in terms of their introduction to each other and the way that they're shot together. The way that the characters are shot in this so far is not like a traditional Hollywood kind of camera distance. It's making them all seem really small on the screen, and you're seeing more of their bodies than you would in a traditional Hollywood film. I mean, just think about this in terms of like the proportion or the amount of Natalie Portman or Julianne Moore's like figure that you're seeing in comparison to even like Black Swan or I mean, you see a lot of Julianne Moore in Boogie Nights, but you really get a sense of their humanness in comparison to the like Hollywood perception that you'd have of them. And this is like a further kind of deconstruction of that idea of, who's this in? Christopher Blauvelt? Ooh, he did Showing Up too. And he did Emma. And he did First Cow. Wow. This has done a lot of Kelly Reichardt movies. Okay, Christopher Blauvelt. But yeah, the first line of dialogue that they have with each other saying that they're they look a lot bigger on screen. It's also kind of like an intentional deconstruction or destabilization of the idea of myth, the idea of immediate depiction of these characters that we have in our heads, ingrained in our heads, and perhaps getting a, if not a truer representation, then a separate representation from that ideal.
Tell the story, right? Don't I?
That's all I want. I want you to feel seen and known.
Oh, those are my dogs. That's Zeus. And
That's so funny. The first line she has in response to saying that that the actress wants her to be fully represented is that she immediately deflects and identifies her dogs. Maybe she's avoiding being captured or being represented as well.
Sense about these things. Oh God, I knew it.
What is it?
It's a box of SHIT.
Do you know who sent it?
Some sicko probably wasn't invited to any barbecue.
Do and get yourself a hot dog. Great.
Is that a little lisp I hear on Julianne Moore's voice? I've never seen an interview with Mary Kate Letourneau, so I don't know if it's a good imitation. But imitation is, in my understanding at least so far, going to be a big theme in this movie.
Charlie!
You're one of the twins?
Yeah, my brother's around here somewhere. I've never met anyone who's on TV before.
Well, your parents.
Yeah, but like
Under just different circumstances.
They're a very beloved part of this community.
I can see that. What is it you love most about Gracie?
She always knows what she wants.
It really feels like things just settled down and now y'all are making a movie.
It's a very complex and human story.
I like how the movie gets out of the way all these feelings of like apprehension and nervousness on the part of the audience in terms of how like true crime-ish or like lurid or like sordid this kind of process will be, the process of adaptation of these kind of events or these kind of crimes.
Closed when they're open. Pink lipstick.
There's another movie this year to feature birth of a child behind bars as well. I don't know if it would be a spoiler to tell you what it is, but you'll know it when you see it. And we're also seeing two different images captured of both of these people. That Gracie is being captured in photograph, and I don't know what the actress's name is. Elizabeth is being caught in a reflection or being caught on the TV screen again. Everybody's looking at the imago of somebody else, the previous remnants or the representation, perhaps the fictional representation of somebody else.
You smell like charcoal.
Do you want me to shower?
What I want is for you to have showered before you get in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Pausing from 3, 2, 1, pause. We're at very, very early stages of the depiction of their relationship, and I don't want to psychoanalyze too much, especially early on in the movie. But we've gotten two very different slices of Gracie's relationship with Joe already within these like first few scenes. The first is her saying that he's already on his second beer and kind of like chiding him for that, and also that's kind of reinforced by this scene where she's angry at him for bringing the gas smell into their bed. But it's coupled with this kind of like nervous anxiety that she has a breakdown, a quiet breakdown, a small breakdown as a result, and he has to like comfort her and reassure her, and it's already very, very perhaps subtly, perhaps unsubtly, depending on, you know, if you've had these people in your life, but it's already giving a kind of subtle insinuation of a relationship of like a catastrophizing mother figure, somebody who's like controlling of his actions and demands of him kind of like specific behaviors or actions, who regulates his drinking habits and how he smells, but on the other hand is also like makes herself like quite vulnerable and victimized and needs to be constantly pampered and treated and cared for, and it creates this really strange dynamic where she's the one in control of the relationship from both sides, from both a controlling and a victimized role, that she needs to order around. She needs to order around Joe. But she also needs Joe to like kind of like care for her and baby her. It's very early on, but this is already very strange kind of like peek into what their relationship might be like. And these are special circumstances with, you know, her life being under scrutiny for the first time in a long time. And they're going to make a movie about their lives. And she's handling it worse than him. But in terms of the economy of the screen, this is already some troubling early signs of what their relationship is like. Yeesh. Like, just think about the way we like see these characters at what distance we view them in comparison to how you think about like Carol. You think about Carol, you think about it's all from Therese's point of view. It's all about her looking at Carol's hands and her eyes and the back of her head, and it's all very kind of subjective and intimate. And this is already such a huge departure from that. It's so distant and at times static and at times like
I don't like this part.
like imposing,
So my
or like a
brother, Scott,
surveillance camera.
is a rear admiral in the Navy, and he says that order is his own reward.
I've literally never seen Natalie Portman taller than somebody else on screen.
When they sent me the Charlie's.
He's got
Is that milk?
severe calcium deficiency.
I'm really not hungry. I had a late lunch.
Your little gushy treats.
How old do you think I am?
Boys are hard.
Everything she says, every line is like laced with a twinge of like anxiety, like a trigger for the audience, a potential trigger.
I made friends wherever I went, and I was very close to my brothers. I think my childhood was exceptional.
Exceptional childhood. Boys are hard.
Did you ever consider leaving town?
Why should we be the ones to leave?
No, our whole family.
She's got a nice blowout though.
Gracie's kids.
I didn't really meet him until he came to the pet store looking for a job.
It was summer after 6th grade? What's your relationship like with him and your other kids?
How is that relevant? The twins are in the same grade as Kathy, Thun Peter, my grandson, so we'll all be at graduation together, which you're welcome to come to if you're still here.
Thank you.
God. And you kind of like hear in Moore's performance just like that little insinuation of like of venom or pushing back against Elizabeth. Like, if you're still here, it's kind of Southern sinisterness.
I didn't know what a big deal it was in a way because, you know.
You were so young.
But anyway, maybe read Gracie about. She's better at that stuff.
It really is in some ways kind of like Norman Bates and I forgot who Norman Bates' mom is, but just like her, seeing the window light, seeing the room light up, the window light up from the room above, that she's like she's just like controlling her husband from a distance.
Shame or guilt?
Yeah, that's probably a personality disorder.
No doubts, no regrets.
Meaning what?
You can actually kind of hear in a little way that that Elizabeth is already starting to adapt the speech pattern of Gracie. It's just slowly developing in, especially the more that she like relates to or is fascinated by Gracie. She's just slowly kind of like growing more of that kind of cadence or like lisp.
Tom Atherton.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for doing this.
And you can actually hear the difference when she's speaking in her own tone or closer to like Natalie Portman's tone, that it's very curt in its own way. It's very stuttering. It's very like kind of like frigid and like East Coast-ish or like New York-ish.
That's great. So I guess we will just dive in.
She was in high school, I was in college. She graduated, I graduated. That was it. A, B, C, D. I felt very happy.
It's very funny, the kind of
I know
relationship.
later, she said that things weren't working, but I got to tell you, at the time, I felt like everything was
normal. Gonna pause for a second. It's interesting the layout, the way that Tom lays out the relationship with Gracie. It almost feels like a like the normalized mirror of what Gracie and Joe's relationship would be, or that Gracie and Joe's relationship is like a dark mirror to the standard American dream or the American nuclear family. That the way that Tom describes it, he was the older man pursuing the younger woman, and he was kind of like entranced by her, and this kind of like normalized family life of the like A, B, C, D, everything set on a track. And I wonder, based on this kind of like banal descriptor, if this is something that Gracie thinks that her own life is, that her own courtship with Joe or her own manipulation of Joe is, that she's following just the same track that America expects of its couples, with the man leading, and her justification is that since she's a woman or whatever, since she's older, that she's being improperly villainized for following the same kind of beats of what is the standard American life, and perhaps doesn't recognize the ways that she has manipulated this or caused harm within this structure. And it also holds up a weird kind of, I don't want to get too far into it because I honestly don't know what Todd Haynes' intentions are, but it holds up this strange mirror, this fracturing of the normalized American life itself, that if Gracie and Joe can follow this path, if Mary Kay Letourneau and Vili Falao, if they follow down this set pattern, this set track, and are able to, and Letourneau is able to insinuate into it this kind of menace or this kind of manipulation or this kind of exploitation, then perhaps the structure itself already existed in order to be exploited, or has these kind of like trappings in it, or has these kind of like blind spots within it that can be exposed and that can be exploited.
Yeah, we had a great family, I thought. It was just so weird. It was like I didn't even know Gracie. Like, what would make a 36-year-old woman have an affair with a 7th grader?
Did you find out?
That's at least my question in these kind of narratives, these kind of like sinister narratives, or these
pet store, and she got arrested.
These outlier kind of narratives.
The house, tell me what's going on, and I'm like,
that you try to identify what's like the root of it. What is the place of dysfunction, or as Elizabeth's husband puts it, the personality disorder, and perhaps you're meant to be led down the idea of this isn't something that is outlier. This isn't something that's being born out of strange or divergent people. This is actually the most extreme form of what already exists in our orthodox principles or our orthodox morals.
I heard you saw Tom.
And we again see Gracie in reflection. That there's like two different versions of her that exist. And it's also like she always exists in reflections or in observation.
See how being in a relationship with him, in a marriage, would be isolating.
Seemed perfect on paper. It was a different time. Oh, so cute. Lovely. I love it.
Oh, I didn't even realize. We're not even seeing her in just one reflection. We're seeing her, the both of them, and we're seeing her in two.
And showing your arms like that. That's something I always wished I could do
Jesus
when I was your age.
Christ.
Just not care about these unrealistic beauty standards. You're different than
Gracie. Jesus Christ.
a modern woman.
Yeah, you really get a sense of how she like controls or talks to people that she views as like her children or her charge.
So it's not my business who you talk to. I mean, you can go through the phone book for all I care, but I just let me know ahead of time so I don't have to lie to my neighbors.
And I love this characterization of Gracie, that she has this veil of nonchalance, that she doesn't care about any of these things, that she gets like shit in the mail and she just disregards it. She lives every day for a new day, but you can feel underneath it that she's trying to survey everything. She's trying to regulate everything, like the way she regulates her children, the way she regulates her husband. She's trying to control what kind of narrative Elizabeth will spin about her, understandably so, but you get the sense that underneath this very, very rigid facade of this impenetrable facade of nonchalance is a incredibly fierce identity of control underneath.
She took on more and more responsibilities, balancing the books, orders.
By the way, Carol has some beautiful wide shots as well. I think about the shot of them at the party where you're witnessing them through the windows on the outside. Also, like, there's one shot of Teresa in the factory that I thought was just really beautiful. I don't usually think of like filmmakers as finding beautiful ways of shooting like industry or shooting offices and stuff, but the way that Haynes shot that with like the green tint to it, it's beautiful.
We were really surprised, to say the least, to be a part of what all happened. This pretty much sums it up.
Oh, wow. I'd love to see the stock room.
It's a little bit of a Shining tracking shot. You're entering into the depths, into the bowels.
Don't touch any of the bait.
You get really kind of a sense of like Gracie as like a black hole or like a sun or something, that everybody within like the rings around her, closer to her gravitational pull, are like charmed into her facade, into her sunny outlook. And the further away you get from that, the people who don't relate to her as strongly or don't kind of like aren't taken in by her illusion, you get a sense of how strange the actual circumstances are to like live within this community, to live with this person who has done this thing that was both illegal but also like deeply like socially unconscionable. I love the idea that Elizabeth is recreating this event by herself, that it's in some ways a reflection of Gracie's own experience of this, that she is making love to an image she's constructed for herself, that it's a kind of like, it's like a narcissistic projection in a way. If we're to view Gracie's relationship with Joe as bad, which I'm guessing we should, we can kind of like infer that it's not so much that she was taken in or smitten by a 7th grader, so much as that she was in love with the control she was able to exert on somebody else, on a full-fledged human being, a vulnerable human being, and in a minor, but that control is what intoxicated her, and so in a way, her making love to him is a consummation of her strength of personality, of her ability to control.
Benny Kim, 5 foot, 13 years old, and I'm with Coast to Coast.
Yeah, you see how many like representational images are captured in this movie. Seeing how characters are defined by their remnants of images of them, of the past, of of interviews, of pictures, of audition tapes, of medical imaging, of X-rays. Sorry.
From what I've seen, she seems to be pretty well liked in the neighborhood. And
from the version of the neighborhood she shows you.
You might want to check the names on those orders. It's a handful that keep repeating over and over. My wife's one of them.
So people are just ordering.
I love this image of this like delusion that this facade that she's created, that some people are kind of like obliging, but it seems so strange. It's like their affair, it's like their marriage, but this like shared or communal delusion that's like made stranger from the outside by how closely it's attempting to replicate reality, by how much it's trying to be the same as everything else. it's making itself stranger in the uncanny valley, and that's what this movie is in essence, trying in so many different ways, in the movie itself, in the movie within the movie, in Gracie's relationship, in Gracie's marriage, in how their marriage is perceived by the community. It is this uncanny valley of people trying to create the facade of reality, or the facade of being the same as everybody else, and the facade cracking under that uncanniness.
I can't believe the kids are gonna be at college in the fall. An empty nest.
You will have more time to focus on other things.
Why are these Koreans so Hawaiian coded? I mean, maybe they're half Hawaiian or Polynesian or something, but they don't seem really Korean to me. It's an interesting depiction of that, a moment to focus on being in that school, that it's just a little walk for her to go visit
educated actor has sat in this theater.
go visit the Gracie's daughter, but being within this environment, it conjures up the same kind of level of danger and the same level of kind of like getting to the truth that the back room did, the storage room did in the pet shop.
Have you acted in sex scenes?
You are staying late.
Yes, I have. And it's a strange part of acting.
Like what?
Like pretending that you're in love or in lust with somebody.
Really mechanical.
Yeah.
Like a choreographed dance.
Simulacra.
The only thing you can focus on is where you're supposed to be and when. And you start feeling like it's real. Am I pretending that I'm experiencing pleasure, or am I pretending that I'm not experiencing pleasure? And you feel that, am I holding their breath?
It's a simulacra overtaking reality.
Tension never breaks.
God.
It's the complexity. It's the moral gray areas that are interesting, right?
Gonna pause. Again, 3, 2, 1. Pause. You can kind of get a feeling, a sense that as Elizabeth is diving deeper and deeper into this character, she's creating her own simulation, her own illusion in the same way that Gracie is, and she's like kind of like captivating people within this illusion. But it's such a powerful speech about which part is the lie, or which part is the delusion. Is it you pretending to be in lust, to be intimate with somebody that you're filming a sex scene mechanically with, or is the lie the you pretending to not be physically immersed into the situation where you're imitating a sex scene, that the simulation is creating the emotional response even in the absence of like the truth or the reality of the situation. That's such an actor-y thing, or that's such a like a movie and film thing. But it also ties into this idea that of the butterfly, of the illusion, that if you create a powerful enough illusion, it doesn't even matter if you're the poisonous butterfly or not. People will treat you the same way. That reality will bend to the force of your illusion. And her saying like, are these bad people? Were they born with it, or is there a course of events that lead them to it?
I want to take the person. I want to figure out, why are they like this? Were they born, or were they made?
For me, that ties into this idea that these people who are unorthodox or who are divergent, they aren't something that's separate from the orthodoxy. They haven't broken off from the orthodoxy. They've realized the orthodoxy in its most explicit or its most shocking terms, and in a way have created an alternate reality of what this orthodoxy actually is, and people seeing that reality is what shocks some and what turns some away, but it's also what captivates some and what compels some to share in the delusion or to believe in its reality. In a way, I think like this is actually a movie about American culture as much as it is in like the 2020s as it is about American culture in the 1990s. We've taken this like supposedly isolated event in the 90s, something that seemingly has no force of history leading into it and no like morals or lessons to learn coming out of it, and we've actually like used it as a lens to view American behavior these days, where you have conspiracy theorists and you have MAGA Republicans and climate change denialists and vaccine denialists, that people have been taken so much by the power of illusion, by the power of forceful wills, of forceful charismatic ideologues or figureheads, that they're willing to break reality in order to certify those illusions. And I think it is actually like this movie is actually like a kind of twisted vision of what America is right now, of America kind of realizing the full potential of its orthodox beliefs and seeing that extreme, seeing that uncanny valley of how far this has been pushed to its logical conclusion of ideals that we've held, that we think are good values, but taken to their most potent and their most harmful. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of like seeing the mirror shatter by revealing the truth. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting this to be so intimately about, so harrowingly about the American experience in 2023, but I think this is something that it's reaching towards.
I'm so sorry you're not feeling well.
Oh, and a little thing, like as Elizabeth was becoming more and more like Gracie, even in this slight reading she gave of Cameron, the way she said Cameron, it almost felt like a seduction. Cameron. It almost felt like she was being intimate with this room of kids, where it was like towing the line, where it was a gray area, where you're like, is this cool? Or is this going, or is this crossing a line of her being so revealing with these students? She's being emotionally revealing, she's not being sexually revealing, but it is towing that line.
I'm not going to put on anymore. Can I, thank you.
And again, a depiction of these women in a reflection in a mirror.
Is the blush that I like, sponge to put it on, and
using the metaphor of the makeup, of the construction of a reality.
Like that. And I'll just...
It's beautifully drag. It's beautifully revealing as it's concealing.
You know, I think that it would be better if I just did this to you. I bet you're used to this.
Not with my subject, usually. Artist and subject are commingling.
Always.
Mulholland Drive and all that, they're becoming... They're collapsing the reflection of each other and becoming one.
What do your parents do?
They're academics.
I was going to say they're teachers.
My mother wrote a pretty respected book on epistemic relativism.
That's what this movie's about.
My mother
a drinker.
wrote a great recipe for blueberry cobbler.
It's not funny. That's my life.
What was your mother like?
She was beautiful.
You see the lie, you see the American dream breaking down in just that line of Gracie talking about her mother, that it captures so much of what she thinks of what a feminine ideal is, that her mother could be beautiful as she would be to a child, but as she would be to a partner simultaneously. And you can like feel in her head the cogs turning and breaking on that ideal.
Oh, I love them.
They're hungry this year.
you can actually hear how Portman as Elizabeth is adopting the speech patterns of Gracie when talking to Joe. Creepy, weirdo. She's more breathy. Her speech is elongated.
But she also puts these sticks in for them to climb because some of them attach to the top part of the mesh when they form the chrysalis and hang upside down.
That's fascinating.
You can hear her doing it, you weirdo. Stop doing that, Elizabeth. These are real people.
Very careful because of the chrysalises. Yeah.
And like this idea of not damaging the chrysalis, that these pupae are in a fragile, transformative state. That's certainly a metaphor for Joe. That perhaps Joe is hung upside down at a point of development, and he can't see which way is up anymore.
Yes, thank you.
This is so creepy. This is a drag performance. We're actually watching Elizabeth take on the mannerisms of Gracie. Gracie, who herself is constructing a mannered performance of who she is.
I think you have a very nice family.
People, they like see me as like a victim or something.
But he doesn't see himself like that. He sees Gracie as a victim because that's the dynamic that Gracie has instilled in him.
Right.
I wanted it.
Of course you wanted it. You're a kid. You have impulses. You're not in charge of those impulses.
Joyce and Bertha called and canceled her order and all future orders.
Very important.
And I told her,
where are they going?
Her sister is sick or something.
Okay, so that's really nothing. It has nothing to do with you.
Hours that I could have used. I hate things like that. And now I have this cake that's gonna go right in the garbage.
Don't eat that whole cake for her. Please don't eat that full cake for her. This is a fucked up relationship. Shown in such small snippets, it's such a fucked up relationship. Making the child care for you. It's so fucking desperate.
I took a walk. Showed Elizabeth the neighborhood.
Oh,
Of course, her, the younger version of me. The imitation. It's all about Eve.
Getting on my last. She's just everywhere I look.
It's a creepy movie. It's like softly insinuating itself. I'm very, very, very surprised how much it manages to be about while on its surface level just being about the one thing. Of course, he's eating the cake for her. Oh my god! And I this isn't important to the movie itself. And if you've lived this in your life, you'll know. But I just want to stress that this kind of weird motherly relationship that Gracie has with Joe, it conjures a very powerful kind of feeling in us because of its perversion of the maternal construction of what a mother is and not really what a wife is, but what a woman is, I suppose. But I do want to stress IRL that men play on this dynamic too, and I've seen those men. I've experienced that, maybe not directly, but tangentially. There are men who will manipulate the shit out of their partners by being constantly aggrieved, constantly victimized, that can't do anything for themselves, that can't hold down a job or can't clean the house or do chores or take care of the kids. They just need their wife's help or they need their girlfriend's help because it's just out of their hands. And simultaneously, they make such huge demands of their partners, where they are, where they should be, how they should act, who they should talk to. Believe me, there is a male version of this as well as a female, and both are sickening. Absolutely sickening. I'm feeling sick watching this movie, but get it into your head. This is not just a woman thing.
And I feel like I'm getting really close to something true. Has it just been LA? Because the kids, they're cute, but
They have no substance to them.
sexy enough.
Ew.
I mean, he's got this like quiet confidence, even as a kid, I'm sure.
You don't look scared to me.
A movie within a movie within a movie. Craziness. And she's watching, I don't even know if that's a fake or a real adaptation of the story of Mary Kay Letourneau, of Gracie, who knows which version it is, while being in a movie, while in pre-production for a movie that's an adaptation of the story of Gracie and Joe Arterton, while being in a movie that is a loose adaptation of the story of Mary Kay Letourneau.
How's it going?
Fine.
I was just gonna...
This is a funny, also, in terms of reflections, this is past and present images, past and future images. This is also a reflection of his relationship with his dad, that his dad sat on the porch smoking, and he sat in the exact same position, taking a cigarette.
I've never done that.
Yeah, now his son will share a spliff with him.
I don't have to.
It's a weird relationship where we kind of see Joe in between these two generations, not really being a part of either of them, but being both simultaneously, being the father and the child.
You don't,
Joe's got a fucked up home life, man. Joe's. It's weird. Joe.
This is my brother Bill's favorite cake.
Oh, is this for him?
No, he's in Minneapolis. He works for the twins.
Which twins?
The Minneapolis Twins? Oh, fucking Elizabeth.
The baseball team in high school, and then he played college ball, and now he's a professional pitching coach.
Again, this idea of like this railroad, this life that's meant to go along these tracks, and Gracie's trying to live on these tracks as well, and has like morphed and destabilized these tracks and trying to follow them so fervently.
And do it nicely, because it really does matter how it looks.
Don't fall off. Don't fall.
Joe!
Hey, maybe this wasn't the best idea.
I feel like everything's so fucked up. I just want you to have a good life.
I will.
But you're not like prepared to do it. You've been put in a situation where you've had to act more as an adult, both like outside of your age, but also the relationship that you have with Gracie. You've had to completely take care of her all the time, and regulate yourself all the time on her behalf.
Try not to think about it. There's this.
You don't have enough of yourself anymore that you can give to your kids, that you can give to your parents.
I can't tell if we're connecting, if I'm creating a bad memory for you in real time, but I can't help it.
God.
It's okay.
I feel so bad for him. Oh my God.
Don't worry about me.
Joe's got a fucked up home life. Joe's got a fucked up home life.
Honor, I got you that scale, as I told you at the time, as a tradition, because that's what my mother got me when I graduated from high school.
Her mom, it's like one or two lines, and we get a real sense of how much she's like imprinted on her own mother, how much her mother has completely fucked up her worldview, whether intentionally or unconscious or subconsciously. I mean, if she got her a scale, I think it's pretty intentional.
I'm a really big fan of Nora's Ark.
It's called Nora's Ark. That's hilarious. This TV show sounds so fucking stupid. It's so drag. This makeup spot, this mirror spot is so drag. The depiction of her family is so complicated. Yeah.
4. 2 older, 2 younger.
Again, a reflection.
But I think you know that.
So,
are they wearing? They're not. I can't really tell because they have different skin tones. But are they wearing the same shade of lipstick?
That my children would love me. And my life would be perfect.
You're a little naive.
It's what every woman wants.
I am naive. I always have been. In a way, it's been a gift.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't see anything of what you're doing. It's so cool because you think this movie will be fucked up for like the regular sordid reasons.
Good evening.
And it's fucked up because it ends up being fucked up for so many different reasons. It's like a constellation of fucked upness.
No, just tired.
You think the fuck it upness would be from a woman having a relationship with a younger man, and it ends up being so fucked up based on lies people tell each other in order to conform reality to certain standards, an agreed upon lie.
Sure.
And seeing just how
trauma.
Out of whack and bent out of shape and deformed the
What do you mean?
The lie is
her older brothers.
What?
Yeah. Started when she was 12. On and off. I read it in her diary, but this was like way before.
That seems like a fake revelation. Does it?
Why does she still talk to them?
Because she has to believe that it didn't happen.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I actually have one with me here, a new one, and I can't figure out how to get the
Why does she keep doing this? What's wrong with you?
snap on.
Girl, why are you doing this?
Really? Do you have a second?
I love girl flirting. It's like, welcome to my web. I'm just going to draw you closer and closer to my web, and then I'll trap you.
Since the 80s.
It's too bad she hasn't figured out this character yet. She'd be better at seducing Joe. She really knew the dynamic between her. Oh, but that is the dynamic between Joe and Gracie. That he has to be a caretaker for her.
I wanted to give you something. It's the only one I could say. Don't read it now.
Is he doing this because he got rejected by Michaela? A lot of weird things going on in Joe's head right now. He is so damaged, girl. You're not going to improve his lot in life by doing this.
Believe me, you could start over.
He can't. He's still got whatever is going on inside here. Why is everybody just out to get Joe like this? I feel so bad for Joe. Everybody just sees him as like someone to manipulate. It's horrible. Why live this life, Joe? Joe, help yourself, please. For yourself, for your kids. And this is, again, another reflection, a reflection of the speech that she gives in the classroom about simulating sex scenes, shooting sex scenes. And the camera is even more destabilized and distanced and dreamy and creamy and foggy. Everything to lead to this scene being depicted as even more constructed, as even more of a falsehood or a fantasy. Guy's about to have a panic attack.
Whatever happens, she's gonna be okay.
That's so true.
People like Gracie.
No, she won't.
That's so true.
No. You really don't know her.
Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe. Joe. Joe.
Let me tell you something. Your responsibility, ultimately, is to yourself.
He's going to need to tell himself that. He can't just hear that from you.
You're gonna do what you're gonna do, but stories like these don't...
Oh God, 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 oh God.
Beginnings
This isn't the story. This is my fucking life.
No need to get so worked up.
I love that line is so rote though, or like cliche. But that's like the point. No, oh my god, it's just so fucked up. But that line is so cliche in movies. But the point of a movie, I think, in my estimation at least, is to take. Jesus Christ! Is to take what are kind of like cliche concepts or kind of like normalized concepts, and to break them down and to really get at their core and to make the story anew for an audience, for a viewer. Like Greek myths, Greek tragedies, the story, the course of events is already known, but you have to get deep into the core of that story to make it live again every single night or every single time it is seen. His hair is very not wet coming out of a shower. Good for him.
I don't feel bad. Like, I'm just trying to say...
Incomplete. Broken.
What if I wasn't ready to be making those kinds of decisions? And then what? Because the kids. What would that mean?
That's such a beautiful fractured idea to come out of this. That a good thing, a thing that he loves so much, comes out of this.
I'm saying, what if I was too young?
This point in his life, this decision in his life that was made for him, that was beyond his control, and he doesn't know how to reconcile this relationship with her because he loves those kids so much that he's not able to admit that what created them was something bad.
What?
Who was the boss? Who was in charge? Who was in charge?
This fucking control freak motherfucker.
Talk about something.
I think
if we're really as in love as we say we are, if we have that, where shouldn't I be able to talk about this with you?
If we're really as in love as we say we are.
Gracie, you know what I mean.
No,
I'm saying,
if we're really.
It's like breaking out of the gravitational hold. If he sees it being so close to the ideal, but it's that uncanny valley. It's so broken. Because it keeps trying to be that perfect form-fit model. These upside-down cocoons. Him being stuck upside down, not knowing which way is up and which way is down. Unable to break out. Not given enough space. Let him free. Gotta let those fuckers breathe. He's gonna release the butterfly and watch Gracie kill a bird or fowl or come back with a dead fowl. And again, caught in a reflection. The images we see of people as opposed to the real version.
You look so great.
Thanks.
Oh, we don't get to see her hair blown out. Rare instance of not seeing Gracie with her hair blown out.
I hope you didn't think that disgusting brother thing was real. I don't know what he's doing telling you these things.
He told you?
And you'll never know.
I talk to Georgie every day.
Yeah, see? She's
Insecure people are very dangerous.
She's a full-on illusion. She's a full-on mirage. You'll never get to the center. You'll never get to the truth. Whether or not it happened to her, she will create an illusion around it. I was going to say, her relationship with her mother is, at least from my understanding of it, in the depiction of this movie, was shown as much more potent and much more consequential than her relationship with her brothers. Oh, come on. Todd, I do love you, but we can't all be doing the fucking souvenir ending. I don't even like the souvenir ending.
Are you scared?
No.
It's okay to be scared. You got it.
Is that the right shade of lipstick? Maybe it looks different under the lights, but I would love that detail, whether or not that was the right shade of lipstick. If it's the wrong one because it is a production, because it is falsified, it'll never reach back to the truth again. It'll be set for... It's the right...
I'm not.
It utilizes whatever is the best for its own circumstances.
She's not that kind of snake.
And within that, also, the metaphor that's used, the animal that's used for a metaphor in this, is one that was never mentioned in the movie itself, that her, in her research, she should have found, like, the butterflies or the dogs or something else as a metaphor for their relationship between Gracie and Joe, but they have this construction within the movie itself to use the snake as the metaphor, that it's already divorced itself from the truth. It's already creating its own illusion, its own reality to suit its own needs.
She's not that kind of snake.
And I also love that also ties into her performance as well, that she is performing Gracie as a seductress, because the seductress falls into the conceptual narrative that we have of what Mary Kay Letourneau is. And this movie is this movie has communicated to us the entire time is that the way that Gracie manipulates and controls is by appealing to his caretaker instincts, by making herself be a mother or a betrothed woman, and not making herself the power figure, the one who's in control, even though she is. Oh, just like illusion on top of illusion on top of illusion. I actually want to say, I think first of all, I think this movie is really good, and I also understand that it can have quite an alienating effect. Like, it's not, it's perhaps sometimes hard to get to the emotional core of this, but I actually think that's something that I really like about Todd Haynes movies, and I think that's actually part of the queerness of his movies is that alienation. And I mean, I think that's something that's true of John Waters as well, but the feeling that you get of things not being quite right or things not being quite perfect is a representation of queer themes or queer themes within Todd Haynes' movies, that they are depicting something that's supposed to be as close to... Was that Michel Legrand? Music from the film The Go-Between by Michel Legrand. I had no idea. I haven't seen The Go-Between, have I? That's beautiful, using a little bit of Michel Legrand then. Cool, I love that. But I think a part of it, a lot of his movies that I've seen at least, are the facade, the image of what the perfect American life is, perfect suburban life, and these queered characters, these outsider characters trying, whether subtly or through brute force, trying to insinuate themselves into their lives, trying to construct their own reality into this life, and the simulation either overtaking reality or breaking reality as a result. And that's something that's in so many ways kind of what I'm Not There is. It's certainly what Far From Heaven is. I don't think this is quite what Carol is. I think Carol is a little bit more reserved in some of the more outlandish aspects of Todd Haynes. But yeah, I there are times when I felt so emotionally distant from this movie, but I want to stress for you, if you're watching it and not loving it or not falling in love with it, that feeling of alienation and queerness is, to my mind, intentional to Haynes' construction, that it's not meant to be just emotion for emotion's sake, that you're meant to feel queasy, and that queasiness is a way to understand or to access the characters, and a way to understand the story without just presenting the plain facts of the story. When you set out to make a story about Mary Kay Letourneau, about this event, you want to make your audience unsettled. You want to make them feel uneasy. And a lesser director will say, like, we'll just take the conventions of the story. It's enough to make an audience feel uncomfortable by presenting a woman who seduces a child, a teenager, a preteen. And I think Haynes is utilizing his own filmmaking grammar to conjure those feelings, utilizing different effects, using different insights. This is how we can feel uneasy about this through the lens of queerness. This is how we can feel uneasy about this through alienation. This is how we can feel uneasy about this through the lens of imago, of simulacra, of delusions that America tells itself in order to try and sustain its orthodoxy. There's so many planes by which he attacks this one central conceit, this conceit of uncomfortability, of uneasiness with America, with its own, of American culture, with its own conventions, with its relationship to sex, with relationship to scandal and to intrigue, and to just the feeling of sordidness, I suppose, and where that sordidness comes from. Does it come from people that happened once and will never happen again, or is it something that is ingrained so dearly into the fabric of our society that it's woven in every single strand of us, and we suppress it as harshly as we can, but every single time we get close to the most orthodox vision of our society, it actually reveals this corruption. It reveals this this queerness over and over again. I think this is a fascinating work. I think this is a really interesting distillation of things that I appreciate about Haynes. The performances were good. I don't know what to tell you about that. I like Melton's performance is great. I think the character of Joe is just so perfectly realized as a character who can't admit that they're like all the characters in this can't admit that they're broken. But Joe's like this like little tin soldier who just keeps on fighting and doesn't realize that the girl that he's serving, that he's meant to save, the little ballet dancer that he's meant to save, is actually the evil queen. It's a disgusting perversion of familiar dynamics. Yeah, that was May, December. Jesus Christ. Fuck, man. It was good. It's pretty good. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments down below. In the meantime, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more old, obscure, and art house films. And until next time, keep watching good movies. Doing a Haynes one on the channel. Didn't even think I would do that. Never thought I would do that. It's interesting. Maybe we'll check out Poison.